Hi guys, this is Luthais and welcome to my review of Wolcen Lords of Mayhem that has been built on the cryengine. And for all our Western fans out there of ARPGs, this is our answer, guys. I know a lot of you are waiting for games like Lost Ark and Diablo 4, but if you're like me and you're not a really big fan of games like Path of Exile, and you were fans of games like Diablo 1 and 2 and especially Titan Quest, then this is definitely the diamond in the rough that all of us have been waiting for. And except for the graphics, which is absolutely astounding and really pulls you into any game that it's built on, for the price that you're getting this game at, it's an absolute steal. And with a small company, we've got a lot to look forward to, and of course we've got the opportunity to have a big influence on these developers and try and let them know exactly what we want, and hopefully they can answer some of our dreams, and we can definitely get excited about ARPGs again while we're waiting for the next best thing. Now, the first time you start playing Wolcen, it's going to be a very entertaining first look at it, because first of all there's the graphics, and just like Titan Quest, there's three basic characters you can choose, which is basically melee like a warrior, there's magic like for a mage, and then there's ranged for an archer. But what I love about this game is that it basically doesn't matter. That is only for your starting items. So you can create all kinds of hybrids that you want, and you can specialize your skills as you want as well. And of course, graphics are very important for me, and I personally love the cryengine, and I've been a fan of it since Miscreated. And yes, unfortunately, if you are from countries where the ping isn't that good, then what you want to do is just click the little cloud icon and play offline to give yourself the best experience, because at the moment with high ping you're definitely gonna experience some kind of delay. So at the moment I would suggest just playing it offline for the best experience. And when you start the game, it starts with a small intro. Of course, this is only the beta. In this section that I'm showing you guys here, they were just testing the co-op gameplay. I basically played it single player, and yeah, they just testing various things. The first beta was more about the single player campaign, but they are bringing out the first act within a month. It's somewhere in July. And for all you guys that love ARPGs, this is definitely your best choice at the moment. I know there's a lot of Path of Exile fans out there, but when it comes to Titan Quest fans and Diablo fans, I really feel that Wolcen Lords of Mayhem is your next answer. Of course, at the starting area, you've got your standard merchants. Dimitri here just basically enables you to sell spells that you get in the world, which you have already learned. So access spells you can sell to him to get points to upgrade the spells that you have learned. And of course you can buy various armor and weapons and potions, various items by the merchant. And then of course you've got your merchant as well, who can basically put gems onto your items or take gems out. And the one thing that I love about Wolcen, even in the beta that I'm playing, is the graphical fidelity of it, of course, but the feeling of damage that you do, the weight behind your weapon, the sound, the environment. And yes, I really loved the first edition of Wolcen, but they will bring it back because a lot of people want a bit more lighting and a bit more gameplay outside. And the biggest thing that stands out for me about Wolcen is the difficulty. Yes, any game in the beginning, I'm not expecting it to be extremely difficult, but let's say the small bosses that they have created really poses a challenge. And it almost reminds me of like Dark Souls, although an MMO that when you fight bosses it will work like Dark Souls is one of my biggest dreams. But yes, the difficulty is definitely something that I get addicted to, because you have to learn the mechanics of the small bosses, and I'm not even talking about the big bosses, because like I say, there's just the beta, so there's very few characters in the beta. And then when it comes to your skills, it's not standard either. You're sitting with Veracity, which is more like health regeneration, critical chance, and for your attacks. Toughness, which is like a tank and resistances. Agility is dodge and attack speed and spell casting. And then your wisdom is of course basically just for your magic and stuff like that. Then of course they've got the Gate of Fates, which helps you to specialize in a certain direction. Like a lot of other reviewers, I wasn't really impressed with the choices that they give you, but they have heard the community, and they are going to change those choices to be a bit more rewarding. So yes, just different kinds of abilities that they can maybe give you, because at the moment it's just basically progressing your skill tree, which you are working for in any case. And yes, the different skills that you can do feels really powerful, visually very pleasing to look at, and of course the gameplay is very satisfying. Like I said, when I played Diablo 3, I was really excited about it. I mean, I was absolutely crazy when I was younger with Diablo 1. It was like in groundbreaking stuff for me. And then after Diablo 1, I played a bit of Diablo 2. And then after that, I got invested into Titan Quest and finished it on its 3 difficulty levels. And what I loved about Titan Quest was the characters that you can interact with and the storyline, and how it just makes you feel like a certain hero. Now what I'm loving about Lords of Mayhem, because if you go to Steam to their store page, then they will show their progress reports. And one thing that I'm very excited about is certain armies that they are showing, which basically means you will be actively participating in big battles. Whether you'll have help in the storyline, I don't know, but just the fact that you'll be challenging various armies is a very entertaining thing for me. And of course, the one thing where I saw the AI having various armies that you can compete in is, other upcoming ARPGs like Lost Ark and stuff like that. Now in Lost Ark, your powers seem a bit overpowered, but in Wolcen Lords of Mayhem, nothing you really do is overpowered because of the AI. The AI doesn't feel dumbed down, and of course the difficulty level in the standard game is very satisfying and very challenging. Like I said, with Diablo 3, I love the intros, I love the story and everything, but when I buy a game and I invest quite a bit of money and time into it, it feels a bit sad when I finish the game in 1 week after working, after hours, and then basically finding out that I should have set the difficulty level higher. So yes, Diablo was more about grinding for me and dungeons and stuff like that, where, as you're seeing here, this miniature boss that you've got here is quite challenging. It has killed me before I learned its mechanics. And yes, I really love the fact that I have to know what he's going to do, because if you challenge these characters without really buying items or focusing on your item builds, and just not really worrying about dodging or rolling away or anything like that, these guys can definitely kill you. Like that spell there, if you're in the middle of that spell, as a standard DPS character, you'll be one-shotted. So being careful in these kind of situations feels very rewarding, and of course it makes you focus more on your builds and your technique and your skill, and what kind of character you want to use. Now I'm playing an archer here, but I must say with a melee character, this guy right here has killed me more than 10 times because of the damage that he puts out. And what I love about him is the fact that he's got gap closers, so it's very difficult to stay away from him, where in other ARPGs it's quite easy for you to keep your distance and stay away from them. And again, the damage that he does is quite high, and it's very easy for you to get relaxed and just try and finish. But before you know what's going on, you'll be dead. I mean, he's got very low health, the sadistic thug. I feel safe, I've got quite a bit of health, but as you will see shortly, look at my health. There it goes down a bit, but I'm trying to finish him, and there it goes. Okay, so this game has got a lot of moments where you feel like you're totally in control, and then before you know it, you'll die. Now in co-op, of course, your friends will be able to pick you up, and you'll only be able to die 3 times. And this is another monster in the beta, which I struggled with a lot. Not the most difficult boss that I've encountered. There is one more difficult than him. But what makes this game such a great challenge, and it needs your focus constantly, is not the boss itself. It's if you pull aggro from anything else on the map, then you're going to be sitting with a major problem. I don't care if you're a magician or an archer or a warrior character. As you can see, I pulled aggro here from other characters, unfortunately, because I have to run away. I've only got 4 dodges, so by the time I use the 4 dodges, I'm done for. And they block you as well, which I found very entertaining. And of course, this is a good example of the most difficult boss in the beta. This guy, can just run you down really, really quickly, and he's got spells that you can't really get away from. And I've got a very, very good bow here. As you can see, I'm firing 4 projectiles, so it is a it is a very good bow. I'm not sure if it's legendary or epic or whatever, but yes, it is a very powerful bow. And I was still in danger. And this is just the first. At the moment I'm playing in a dungeon. As you will see, expedition, 10% magic find, and 1 to enemy level, and challenge the boss. So just basically dungeons where your bosses get more and more difficult. And just with the enemies that they've created up to this point, I'm really impressed. I don't know how difficult it would be for them to create a wide variety of mini bosses and big bosses, but the mechanics of the AI is really really impressive to me. And like I say, you can't relax for a second in this game, okay? This is a dungeon, guys, but I am on the right level. I'm level 18. You can enter the first dungeon when you're at level 15. So, yes, there's no excuse for me dying there constantly. Okay? And coming back to the skill tree, like you can see, you can specialize in most fields. And then, you know, just like Path of Exile, you've got the ring that you can turn. Of course, in the full game, the outer ring is going to be active as well. And they've expanded on the skill tree as well. So it will be much more condensed. You'll have much more choices. And the choices will be much more rewarding. Like I say, you can see there, it's just giving you a percentage damage, or it's giving you more toughness, or it's just adding to your skills, to the skills that you upgrade at every level in any case. So it doesn't feel extremely rewarding at the moment, but they are working on it, and they are going to give us much more choices. And of course, except for all the choices, they're going to make it more rewarding. As a young kid, I was a Conan fan, and just knowing that there's going to be an option for me to use a two-handed sword, with one hand, is really exciting to me. And yes, as a Titan Quest fan, and the way Titan Quest was made, I really feel that they're sitting here with the hidden gem. And yes, it's a small company, but I really feel we should support the small developers, because at the moment, for any of you that keeps track of it, you will see that the big companies are very money hungry, and they're being directed by large companies, which is basically their main focus is making money. Where with these small developers, their main focus is on making a really good game. I mean, for Wolcen Studios, this is their first official game, and by just looking at the work that they've put in so far, you know that they're extremely passionate about it. Just like the other game that I love, Miscreated. The small developers are much more focused on the player base and communicating with the player base directly and listening to their community, and yes, trying to make the game, as fun for their fans as much as they can. And the amount of effort that they put in with a small budget and a small team absolutely blows my mind, by the amount of work that they put in. And again, you as a no one, or as a gamer, can talk to these developers directly, and give your feedback. And the more people that want a certain aspect to the game, the more chances are that they're going to bring that certain mechanic or whatever you guys want into that game, which you can't do with big games. Okay, yes, a lot of publicity, or a lot of negativity can maybe influence large companies, but they're still basically going to listen to their investors and just do what they want to do. Where with small companies, because their first game is their baby and they really want to see it succeed, we've got a much bigger influence on where the game is going to end up. And for me, that has been waiting for a Titan Quest 2 all my life and was very disappointed, about the company changing things. And, I still got excited when I saw Titan Quest Atlantis. I thought it was a new Titan Quest that I almost, shat in my pants or got very excited. But as soon as I discovered Wolcen, I realized that with our help, and with all the players that love ARPGs, and even for the guys that are waiting for the next Diablo, if Path of Exile isn't your cup of tea, and you're more into a bit less dark and a better storyline and things like that, this will definitely be the game for you. And you don't need to take my word for it. The big thing about small companies is that their game costs a third or a quarter of the price which the bigger games go for, and for a very, very small price you can experience this game, okay, and put more than a week into it. Okay, that's the big thing. Like I said, yes, you can play Diablo 3 for longer, but I basically finished the storyline in a week. I was very disappointed with the difficulty, and yes, now later on I can change the difficulty, but I've already experienced the thing that I was crazy about, and that was the intros and the storyline and everything. But I didn't experience the difficulty and the satisfaction of getting to where I was, because it was too easy. And Wolcen is definitely not going to disappoint you on that field. Yes, maybe they might not have the variety that everyone wants, but one thing you can be certain about is that every single AI that they create will have unique mechanics, and every AI won't feel generically the same with the same attacks or the same damage or whatever. Every single AI has got a specialty to it, something that makes it difficult to deal with, and something that you have to learn to deal with them effectively. And of course, yes, we don't have to talk about the visuals. The cryengine is absolutely fantastic, and this is on the lowest settings, guys. Now, unfortunately, the cryengine is very CPU intensive, and my CPU is not of the highest grade in the world, but you can just see what the game looks like on low, okay? And on high, of course, it looks extremely beautiful and detailed and immersive, and that's the biggest thing about the cryengine, which I've come to love, is that the cryengine immerses you in the game, okay, and really becomes part of you. So this is basically the three characters that I played through with. I played a warrior character up to level 20, I played a magician like Merlin up to level 20, and Robin, and I experienced the dungeons. I did not grind the dungeons to know what the end result was going to be, but I definitely recommend this game for you guys. It's a steal for the price, and I'm very happy with it, and I'm extremely excited about the future. So if you guys like this video, please give me a like, give your feedback in the comments down below, and if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. And yes, I'll definitely be keeping you updated on this game and the future of it. If you grind the game at the moment with the beta, this is the kind of gear that you can end up with. So the gear looks very cool, but of course I would love them to add more and more gear, because what made Titan Quest so special for me is the fact that I can look unique, and that's always important for me. But yes, do yourselves a favor, click that purchase button in Steam, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. And yes, this game is really good, guys. This is Luthais. Cheers.